And welcome to the class. So, yeah, we're ready. Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes. So, welcome back, and sorry about last week. Sometimes things have to be just managed around. So, I just hope that it's not been too long a gap for us to forget what we did in the past, and I hope it gave you a chance to get back to whatever has been taught so far or we have covered so far. So today we are now continuing with the fourth chapter. Up to verse 9, we have seen in fair amount of details. And one second. And up to 9th verse, from 4th to 8th in particular, we find the concept of idea of acceptance of a lot of questions around avatar is taken up. There's a lot of reflection over it. It's a very clear knowledge otherwise. As far as the knowledge is concerned, there is no confusion in it. But the concept, the idea, the acceptance of it takes a little time. So Krishna has here spoken of knowledge which is available to every being, irrespective of color, caste, creed, etc. Available to everyone, whoever desires to have self growth. What do we mean by self growth? In the world, we understand growth means material wealth, status growth, improvement in health, all those things. But when it comes to Shastra Vidya, Vidya which is called Shastra, every Vidya is not called Shastra. Every knowledge is not called a Shastra. every knowledge does not get the status of being called a scripture. For any knowledge to be understood as a scripture, there are certain criteria it has to fulfill. First, amongst the few, first is that it has to be universally applicable. Just as the scientific knowledge is universally applicable, so too, when a knowledge is universally applicable, it becomes available to everyone, irrespective of color, caste, creed. I'm just repeating. That universal application is for what reason? Why? Whoever will seek anything other than what the world offers, it's a very internal recognition. All recognition is internal, but in this context, it's deeply internal. Everyone is seeking something or the other. But when our seeking can be met by things from outside, then we don't need a scripture for it. A scripture doesn't have to tell us how to get money from the world, how to earn money. A scripture does not have to tell us how to uh, take care of your health. You don't need scriptures telling you these mandates. What you need a scripture, what is called a scripture is when what I am seeking, I know it is not available from any of the sources or any of the means that is outside available for me. My money cannot get me what I seek. My fame, name, power, position, status, relations, my good work, my good karma, my punya, it seems nothing can get me what I want, what I truly seek. So, for us to appreciate what is called as knowledge, that knowledge which will be called as scripture, it means it must be universal to address that search in a person, that seeking in a person, which a person has understood on their own thinking, by themselves, by their own observation and reflection, by their own thinking, vichar, vivek. They have come to understand what I want is not there in the world at all. And that there is no means there outside in the world which can help me to get what I want. That knowledge, which is going to now lead us to satiate that seeking, that knowledge, which will have a validity. It must have a validity. That knowledge, which has been universally accepted, tried, tested, not a new formula that's just emerged maybe a little while ago, a few centuries ago, or a few decades ago, or there is an author to it, because as time passes, that knowledge may change, something else may become applicable. No, if that knowledge has to be called a scripture, a knowledge which is a shastra, that knowledge must be available at all periods of time to any of those seekers who seek something that by their own conclusion have understood is not available in the world. I hope my sentences were logically presentable and clear. What is a shastra? Someone's mic is on. Can you please mute it? What is a shastra? A shastra means that knowledge, what it gives me, how to fulfill what I'm seeking when my own buddhi has completely understood. It's knowledge for me that what I truly seek is not available through any means in the world. Nothing can give me here or hereafter. My buddhi is able to decide, is able to see through. I'm able to see through that if no one has got happiness in the world, it's unlikely that I will find it. If nobody has found fulfillment in the world, it is unlikely that I will find it by the same method that they have tried. These are very few examples which are instant to our recognition. Scripture means it is going to show us the way. Gyan dega. It will lead us. It's like a torchlight. It will give us the data. Knowledge means it's information, it's data. And that data, information, has to be universally applicable and also has to be always available to, oh, because universal means what? It has to be eternal, nityam, and that knowledge must have a validity in all periods of time to show that it has nityatvam. The author of that knowledge, the giver of that knowledge, the one who has that knowledge, the one who is able to give this, convey that knowledge. Shastra, after all, what is Shastra? It's Gyan. But if the Gyan is not possible, I'm sorry, I'm repeating my statement. If that Gyan has to be conveyed, it has to be held in some receptacle. Someone's buddhi, it has to be held in. Someone has to understand it as the Shastra reveals it. जो शास्त्र कहता है उसको वैसे ही यथार्थ as is, someone has to accept it, someone has to receive it, there has to be a receptacle. Shastra Vidya is like river flowing. We have already said it's established knowledge, it's been tried and tested, and that knowledge is eternally flowing. Whom does it quench? Who's thirsty? Thirsty of what? Having figured out, understood what I seek. What do I seek? How many of us have truly a clarity of it? We are all seeking very temporary ends in life, very immediate ends of happiness today or tomorrow or 5 years or 50 years or this lifetime. We look at things in a very limited perspective. That is not what we are really seeking. Few of us, through constant thinking and through experience is a big teacher. When you learn that what I was seeking didn't give me happiness, I got it, but I didn't get happiness. And I go on doing this over a period of time in different avenues, I begin to suspect. My buddhi begins to suspect, is it even there? So you have a lot of parables saying it. I won't go into it at this point. I'm sure you'll all recollect those parables. It's been repeated many times in the past. Like the lady with the needle who's looking for a needle uh, under the lamppost, and then some bystander goes and asks. I said I will not, but I'm repeating just in case someone's new and not heard it. The bystanders who was looking at this old lady looking for a needle outside under a lamppost said, "What are you looking?" And the old lady said, "I'm looking for my needle that I lost. I was sewing my torn cloth, but the needle fell and I'm looking for it." So the boy started also helping the lady, young boy. So he said, "I must do my obligation. I must help this old person." And as he was doing, few of his friends came. They also asked, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm helping her find her needle. She's lost it, and her work is stuck because she's lost it." So they all come together and start looking for this needle that this old lady has lost. A little time goes, half hour, 1 hour, and they are very surprised. So many of them are looking, but how much is the light below the lamppost anyway? So maybe one of them, it strikes them, and he asks, "Are you sure you dropped it here?" She says, "No, no, I dropped it in the house." So everybody stands straight. If you dropped it in the house, why are we looking for it here? She says, "Because there is no light there. The light is here. So I'm looking for it here." The parable looks so absurd. Common sense. It's even a little light. It's a little humorous also. हंसी भी आती है. You start, अरे, that kind of a thing. But it's very profound. What is that old lady looking for? Something she feels she has lost. The first point of connection. What does she feel she has? Something she had, she owned it, she was using it, and then she lost it. So her notion of the search started, her action of search started with the notion that I have lost it. What I had. First point of parallel. What I had, I have lost. Okay, good. First point of clarity. What is it parallel to us? I had happiness. I was happy. I recognize somewhere that I am a happy person, but I seem to have lost it. I seem to be searching for it. I don't seem to be content. I seem to be looking for it. I seem to always be chasing it. But why am I chasing it? If I don't have any knowledge of me being happy, how am I presupposing what is happiness? I know there must be something. I'm looking for it means I have already experienced it. I already have it. I already own it. I don't know at this point what that is. Shastra tells us, that's why it's a Shastra. It will tell all these doubts, it dispels. First point, I'm looking for something which I think I have lost, which means I'm looking for happiness, which I think I have lost. Next is what? Having lost it, my urge to look for it starts. My urge, my action plan starts. My anxiety increases. My desperation increases. My desire for searching it emerges. As long as I have it, I don't have a desire to look for it. Only when I know that I've lost it, that losing knowledge that I have lost my happiness, I'm not happy. I've lost it also. I think a Shastra helps us understand. Most of us are looking for happiness because we want more happiness. I don't think I'm happy enough today. I want more. So what happens? Now my actions start. I have to look, I have to search because I'm empty without it. I've lost it. Lost feeling is a very beautiful. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying it's beautiful. I'm saying it beautiful from the perspective of knowledge. When you understand what that lost feeling is, it's a lot of knowledge. And that knowledge is what I'm calling as beautiful. It's a recognition. Because when I understand that I'm feeling lost, is there a hope in me that I'll come to the knowledge which will tell me I was never lost? Lostness is a notion. So this lady thinks that I have lost my needle, is putting her into a action plan of looking for it. Unfortunately for her or for all of us, paranchi khani vyatranit vishayaha. All our objects are externally, senses are externally oriented. The light from within, which is our consciousness, which is our pure knowledge, that ever happy state of me, which is all knowledge, that knowledge, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever words you want to call it, is directed in such a way that the senses of mine have only one side entry. They only look out, they don't look within. So, this light of knowledge that I already have, but that light that I already have, I have associated it with the senses because that's my means to search. If I have to search the needle, I have to see the needle. And to see the needle, my eyes have to be employed. And that is directed one way, only outside. being directed outside. What is the old lady looking? Outside. Where? Wherever she thinks the light is there. She's looking for her needle there. Now, the minute she says, "Oh, but I lost it inside," all these young boys stand up. But, Amma, why are you looking at here? You should be looking at it there, inside. She says, "No light inside. Agyanam. I can't look for it there. My eyes don't turn inside, my ears don't turn inside, my nose doesn't turn inside, my tongue doesn't turn inside, my taste doesn't turn inside. These are my means of knowledge, and through none of them I can know where that needle is, because other than that, I seem to have no means of knowledge." In such a place of recognition, Shastra Vidya comes as what? As that boat which takes one to the other shore. It comes as if the receptacle was this, as he's saying, the Guru Acharya. Knowledge was handed down, there was a receptacle, held it, conveyed it outside. The knowledge of that sthiti, Atma sthiti, Atma bhav, Brahma gyan, and that entire state in which that Atmagyani revels with the help of this knowledge that he has become. He gives it out. Now your ears are still tuned outside. What happens? By sheer anugraha, by sheer all that good work I do in my life, that punya brings me, and my ear hears it. The words have now taken what? The words of that Paramarthik Satyam, though it is revealed as an object to me, when it's given as a knowledge, it is revealed as an object to me. But the minute it comes inside, having heard, now they are my thoughts. And these thoughts have the capacity. They no longer depend on the sensory objects. They no longer depend on the senses. That knowledge, which by itself is capable of revealing to me who I am, they, that boat is that thought, knowledge, which takes me to the other shore, which takes me to recognizing myself as my true nature, which is Brahman. And the whole process it reveals. How do you know you are Brahman? If my mind is disturbed and agitated, we all know that. As I keep growing older, I also see it happening. Very interesting. When we are young, how good our concentration is. I've given this example many times because I am not boosting it, but I really did it. So I used to revel, and I can see the fall with age, how your upadhi keeps falling. A lecture, a talk on Vedanta, if I had heard, I didn't need to make notes. Afterwards, I could repeat the whole thing within a few minutes. I would go through the whole talk in my mind. I could remember through all the senses, because that's the level of absorption, concentration an upadhi can have. But very soon, as you keep growing older, what happens to our upadhi? Our mind goes away into different directions. Even when we are listening, if our mind is not fully available to us, that knowledge is not being received fully. So, what happens? It's still not capable of revealing to me. Knowledge is capable, but my mind is distracted and dissipated by my own. Now, what are the reasons why am I dissipated? We all know that now. Raga, Dvesha, Ahankar, and this feeling that I'm lost and I need to look for something. All those things keeps our mind busy, and we keep engaging ourselves in things and beings. So the knowledge, even if it's purely given, unadulterated, Brahma Vidya is given straight. Our upadhi, our own minds are not in that receptacle state to receive it, that it should reveal, the words should reveal who I am. Therefore, To call something a Shastra, it has to also give me the knowledge of how to qualify myself, how to make this receptacle better, how should I mature this, or how should I keep it vacant or empty, so that when the words are falling, I should be able to hold them, I should receive them. Most of us have what? The Shastra tells us, most of us have our receptacle, our minds have holes. Chidram. Chidram means holes. These senses are called holes also. Our minds are so attached to these holes that whatever we receive instantly through those small, small holes, they immediately fall off. So the whole knowledge is not mm, pakdod, is not held together. So Shastra is that which will also tell us how to qualify ourselves. So from 4 to ninth verse, Krishna has established that the path that I am giving to you, Arjun, is a path which is tried and tested. You know, those who go to Mount Everest, very interesting. Recently, I just registered it. To go to Mount Everest, also, the first one who went when he conquered Hillary, I think, you know, um, a lot of difficulty they had through a lot of, obviously, they're the first one, path breakers, as you would call them. But once a path is established, what happens? It's easy to follow that path. Everybody starts to follow that path. It's tried and tested. To try another path would require a lot of something. But Mount Everest is different. Krishna says here, if you are seeking your own fullness, re seeking it, you already had it, you feel you've lost it, and you want to stop feeling that you've lost it, and I want to regain that I have not lost anything. I am Ananda Swabhav. I am Paripurna Bhai. What more is there to me that I must get? Sharir I am not, thoughts I am not, senses I am not, name I am not, form I am not, age I am not, disease I am not, even the happiness that is coming because of our little punya karmas, that also I am not. ये कुछ भी मैं नहीं हूँ, क्योंकि ये कुछ भी वो चीज़ है नहीं जो मेरे मेरे पास थी नहीं, मतलब it's not something I seek. That what I am already there, that Purnatvam that I am, the one who's again searching for him, this whole yoga has been given out. How? Pravritti and Nivritti. Pravritti means what? Along with whatever I am today, my gunas, whatever my nature, whichever be my desires, whatever I be seeking, through them only. I don't have to change anything. Through them, I continue doing what I am to do, using this body, using the thoughts, employing whatever desires I have. Only thing I have to do is change my attitude, change the way I am perceiving the fullness that I will get from that chase or from that gain of that object. I start changing that attitude. Why do I want it? I change that motive. What am I seeking? I change the motive. All these are within the human capacity to change. So, Shastra's another lakshan is it gives us the final goal knowledge that we are seeking. It also shows us how to prepare ourselves for it. And in doing that, throughout, it will give us only that which is possible for us to do. The knowledge is possible. I can change my attitude, so Shastra says change it. It's not like Shastra is telling me that I must grow my sixth finger. Imagine if that was one of the processes of Karmakand. even in Karma Kand. Do this yajna, only when you grow your sixth finger will you attain moksha. Or when you get horns on your head, will you get freedom from this struggle? Does Shastra give us any of such mandates? Does it say anything at all which is imaginary or just what is the right word? It is just a speculation. It is just blind words. No. Every word of Shastra is something that falls within human capability. However diluted the person be, it still will be within their capability. That's how all encompassing that path is, and therefore it's called Shastra. So Krishna says here to Arjun, calling himself in his real nature, because only a jnani can give gyan. All acharyas are only practicing sadhaks. Jnani is a rare jnani. Only a jnani can really convey gyan. Atma gyan has to, in I think it's in the fourth chapter only, he's going to tell us the qualification of a teacher. He has to be an Atmanisht for him to convey. So Krishna says, this path that I'm giving to you is a tried, tested path. Many people have tested, followed it with faith, Shraddha, and they have overcome it. How? In the ninth verse, he said, whoever has known my Janma and Karma as Divyam. And what is Divyam? It's self-illumining is called Divyam. Madhusudan Saraswati puts this definition. What is self-illumining is Divyam. Whoever knows my Divya Janma and Divya Karma, Tattvataha, in essence, means whatever background I'm saying today, that fullness with which we already are, that is Tattva. Whoever knows it, Ishwar, as fullness, he comes to this fullness. Means he recognizes what is fullness. Therefore, is freed now of this samsara bandhanam, janma, marana cycle. Gets freed of it. What he was seeking, in a nutshell, means what I am seeking, and it keeps me in this chase of experimenting in the world and wanting happiness and ये नहीं है वो है ये नहीं होगा ऐसा होगा वैसा नहीं होगा ये होगा. At some point, when my effort leads me to understand what is the true nature of creation, which includes me. So my inquiry can go out to know what is the true nature of Ishwar. My inquiry can come in to know what is my true nature. Both these inquiries will bring us to a common point, that the nature of Ishwar or the nature of individual, Jiva, is nothing but fullness. There is only one, that's it. There is only one. How do you know there is only one? If you take the inquiry within, it's easier, it's tangible for most of us probably who have an awakened intellect to some extent, who have identified with their thinking capacity. How many consciousness do I have? How many consciousness do I have?
One.
Is it divisible?
No.
Is my consciousness with eyes different from my consciousness with for ears? Is that consciousness different?
It's one.
It's one. It's not divisible. It's expressing through all these 5 different organs, but my consciousness is not different. It's not divisible. It's whole. In this consciousness, or because of the consciousness, in fact, you can't call any of those words. It's that wholeness of consciousness was there before, is there now, remains there ever, despite of all that my life brings to me. Because of the consciousness, I know it. Now, is this consciousness also arising and falling off in sleep or in waking? As I sleep and as I wake, should be my inquiry. When I wake up, I feel I'm conscious, but did the consciousness really rise like I rose? Did it come up with my waking? Is consciousness waking up? It's not. How do I know that? Because I consciousness in sleep, if I didn't have, I can't on waking up say I slept. So that which is not born, which existed, death I do not know, but sleep I know. In sleep also, it remains when the whole world has fallen off, my sense of individuality is gone, but I still know I am. That consciousness is one. That's my true nature. Knowing it intellectually, with the word consciousness and awareness, knowledge seems tangible. But it doesn't help us own it up. For which, yes, the words Atma and Brahman have to be conveyed. Though in English translation we have said Atman is consciousness, and their words help us to understand, no doubt. But that my nature is consciousness. Are you able to claim that full throughout, irrespective of what's happening outside? I am consciousness. First, reflect what is consciousness. And now, anchor with it. And whatever happens in the world here afterwards, whatever happens to me in my life, fact is, consciousness remains untainted, unaffected, unattached, doesn't grow and doesn't decrease. Consciousness doesn't have any change. Consciousness always is. That consciousness I am. Can I claim it? So he says, whoever knows that essence alone will be the one who will be freed from this cycle. How do you know? How have so many people attained it? How have they got what you are calling as in the ninth verse, Mam Eti? Eti means comes to me. Mam. They come to me. Arjuna, O Arjun, such a one who knows my essence comes to me. How has he come to you? He says in the next verse now, 10th verse. Bahavaha, I'm sorry, Veet Rag Bhaya Krodhaha. Veet Rag Bhaya Krodhaha. Manmaya Mam Upashritaha. Bahavaha Jnana Tapassa Puta Mad Bhavam Agataha. I'll just chant it once. Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. So, in the second line, bahavaha. Bahavaha means many. Many people. Agataha have come. Where? Madbhavam. They have attained by nature. They have come to me by knowing by nature. What he said in the ninth verse. Mameti Saha Arjuna. They come to me. How? Many have come. bhavam, knowing me, my bhav, my essential nature, many have come. Who are these bahavaha, many people? He said, Vita raga bhaya krodhaha. The ones who have, from whom has gone, Vita has gone. What has gone? Raga bhaya krodha. From whom? Rag, we all know rag means also dvesh. One of the means of rag is the desire to gain something, a sense of obsession in a way. And once you have something, if you see something obstructing it, then it is anger. And if you gain it, you have fear of losing it. जिनमें से ये सब चले गए हैं, even that statement is enough. From whom the desire to get something, gain something. It'll rag definition will be tat fal trishna. We saw this in the past. A trishna means an obsession, a thirst. Tat fal, for that phal, for that result that I want to enjoy. When there is this desire to enjoy a fruit, a phal, भोगने की इच्छा, उसको राग कहते हैं. From whom this rag has gone, vita, chala gaya hai. Be very attentive, every word is going to be defined carefully. From whom everything, the desire, the thought that by getting that fruit, I'll be satiated, I will be quenched. जिसमें से चला गया. Also bhaya and krodha. Shankara is very, very kind in a way. I think he expects that all of us have come for Brahma Vidya. So he does not give us any explanation of these terms. He just gives the grammar part of Vita Raga Bhaya Krodhaha. And what is that grammar part? Ragascha Bhayamcha Krodhascha Vitaha. Vitaha means Vigataha. Vigataha. Gataha means chala gaya, gone. Gata. Gam is the root, jana. Gata means chala gaya. Vigata means vishesh roop se chala gaya, has gone for good. Just this much if you think, imagine if I was Vitaraga Bhaya Krodhaha, what would be my mind? Just this much, let's stop here and think for a moment. Imagine. We can only imagine. Okay? Imagine there is no thought of a future happiness, and because of which there is no present um, sense of incompleteness or want. So I have no desire gurgling in me to do anything. And therefore I have no desire to lose anything. मतलब there's no thought कुछ खो जाएगा, कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. Just that much. What happens to the experience of a individual? I'm not calling mind here. I did say, but I'm erasing that word. Imagine if I'm freed of these three. What happens to my living experience?
I cherish every moment.
Okay.
Thankful of every moment.
All right. That's very limited. You still have to imagine that means that's a very laukik, immediate thing. But imagine it's gone for good. If you say
peace.
yes, and what sort of a peace? Because if you say I'm going to be very grateful, that means I'm acknowledging what I have. But think I have, it's gone for good. मतलब मुझ में आता नहीं है ये सब. What is that state I live with?
That
That
is blissful state.
that is a blissful, that is peace, that is wholesomeness, that is fullness, that is a place where I live without vague, yes, without any uh, ups and downs in my mind. And पल पल में हमारा तो मन के भाव बदलते हैं. I don't know about others. I think every human being is like that who doesn't have established knowledge. हमारे मन ऐसे बदलते हैं जैसे from sunrise to sunset, how every hour, every minute things change. है ना? Seasons change. हमारा मन भी ऐसे ही बदलता है. Conditionally, it changes so quickly. For one who is absolutely not God, Vita means gone. I wanted to emphasize that word Vita because if you do not emphasize it, it looks very casual. जिसमें से चला गया. The emphasis is not there. Chala gaya hai what is the meaning of saying it has gone? Means there is a state of peace, shanti, wholeness, fullness. What your nature is, it expresses itself fully. And your nature is already Anandam. It's a expression of that. What else is this Bahavaha? So Bahavaha, one word is many have come to me. How? What was the sadhan? What was their purusharth? How have they come to you? Madhusudan gives this connection. What did they do to come to you like this? How did they attain you? What falls in your purusharth? What falls under the purview of your purusharth, of your effort is Vita Raga Bhaya Krodhaha. To overcome Raga Bhaya and Krodh. That falls in your purusharth. Not to succumb to these, not to be a victim of these, not to be weak to these. Direct them enough to bring you to that Shanti. That is your Purusharth. Second is what? Manmayaha. Manmaya. Manmaya. Manmaya, he says, um, in a very casual meaning, if I start first, Manmaya simply means the mind is absorbed by me. Krishna is saying that. उनके मन में उनका मन मुझसे भर गया. Like you would talk of a bhakta, a, a devotee. A devotee's mind is full of what? Of his Ishta Devta. I'll ask a very simple question, especially when we were teenagers or we were growing through that age. If you were infatuated by someone, what was your mind full of? That's called Manmaya. When you're a new parent, if you become a new mother or a new mother is definitely. What is your mind full of? Is it an impossible thing? If you are very obsessed to earn a lot of money, what is your mind full of? So it is possible. Mind can be kept engaged towards its object of its appreciation, of its fondness, of its affection. Krishna says, if you have a seeking for the fullness, your mind, he says, manmaya, mere se bhara hua hai. What the word Krishna consciousness is floats in the world. The mind, Krishna consciousness means what? This is where they take the word from. Manmaya means, the word means ghana. Mayat is the, the affix used, means dhanmaya. If you say dhanmaya, means what? Full of wealth. In the same way, manmaya means मुझसे ही भरा है मन. कैसे भरता है? Now bhaktas, the school of duality, the school of bhakti, if they were to read the word, they would say full of Bhagwan. Mind is full of Bhagwan. It's easy to understand. Means I eat, I sleep, I drink. My mind only goes towards Bhagwan. It doesn't go into any other thought. That's only thought I entertain. That's the school of bhakti, duality. Shankara, being Advaitin, he and bringing the Vedic vision in a comprehensive way, he says Manmaya means Brahma Vidaha, the one who is a knower of Brahman. What is that? Ishvara Abheda Darshinaha. उनके मन में जीव ईश्वर भेद नहीं है. ईश्वर अभेद दर्शिनः, the seer of the non-separation of Ishvara and Jiva, in whose mind Ishvara and Jiva are not separate. That is Manmaya. You can see the contrast where our mind is and where the Shastra shows how elevated our minds can be. What can be the topic in our minds? What can be the thoughts pertaining to? How we can direct this mind from this lollipop seeking in the world and bring it to seek. That's the goal. Brahma Vidaha. So, what are these? Bahavaha Mad Bhavam Agataha. And what is the description of Bahava? Who are these people? By their Purusharth, Vitaraga Bhaya Krodhaha. One, Manmaya. Mind is kept absorbed in my contemplation or in my bhakti. We can accept both of them here at this point. As long as it's seen as a sadhana, either as a sadhan, it is absorbed. That's why all the sadhans of kirtan and bhajan, and if the bhajan doesn't have the element of devotion in it, that bhajan is music. A bhajan means something that can increase your devotion, your connection with Ishvara. But a lot of people just sing bhajans without any devotion, and it almost becomes like, you know, they laugh after bhajans and during bhajans, and all that stuff is not helpful. The whole sadhan is for what? The sadhan is for connecting your mind to that, or through vichar. There are different sadhans. Some people will tune here, some people can tune there. What is easy for you? Idea is Ishwar Abheda Darshan. That should be it. What is moreover? He's still not ended here. Mam upashritaha. He says they take ashray. Upashritaha means they take recourse. Ashrit. Ashrit means uh, ashray lena. You take recourse in, you take refuge. You take refuge in. Ashray lena. Ashray lena means well refuge, well protected, taken complete refuge. In whom? Mam, mujme. Who's saying that? Krishna. Krishna is who? What he's already revealed himself as, Ishvara. Who says, who take complete recourse in, complete refuge in me as Ishvara. Who's that? Parameshwaram, Upashrita. So if you just take him as a Sagunam, then your form of Ishvara. But Shankara here says, Kevala Jnana Nishtha. There is no other way of freedom. As long as the sense of duality is there, though you will be freed to some extent, but complete freedom is only with your Jnana Nishtha. You take ashray only in Jnana Nishtha, which means every problem of life, every thought of life, every situation in my life, every obstacle or not, everything, wherever my sense of involvement is, I resolve it in Jnanam only. How do you resolve it in Jnanam? Say, for example, all this, if someone wants, um, he's going to talk of it in the next verse also, so let me just say it. If someone wants more wealth, you genuinely need more wealth. What will you take recourse in? What will you take refuge in? What will you take ashray in? What will you settle in? The problem of facing lack of wealth, what will you take ashray in? Not knowledge, isn't it? Jnana nishtha mein nahi loge. If I feel I lack money, if my ashray is in what are the ways to earn money, how will I handle it in Jnanam? How will I convert it towards knowledge? Jnana nishtha mein keval hona chahiye mera ashray, which means if I'm lacking wealth, I feel I need more wealth. What is Jnana nishtha mein ashray?
कर्मयोग में convert कर दो.
Okay, very good. But
भगवान
here,
को ले आओ. You can always say if I
no,
get
no, because here he's saying only Gyan, not Karma Yoga. Only Gyan. Karma Yoga is right from our relative standpoint. But to understand the exact implication of this word, that will be an extraordinary sadhak, extra sadhak, different, जो उस चीज को भी ज्ञान से जोड़ सकता है. कैसे जोड़ेगा?
Prasad buddhi.
That is
Whatever
Karma
I have is
Yoga.
enough.
That is Karma Yoga. What is Gyan? What is Gyan? What is Atma Gyan?
Vivek with me word.
Very good. Close. What is Atma Gyan? What does Atma Gyan say? If I have to establish an Atma Gyan, what does Atma Gyan say? This lack that I feel, that I have, I may not feel, I genuinely have a lack, supposing. More money will make my life better. Yes. Will make my existence comfortable in this life. Okay, agreed. But what does Gyan say?
Question it.
So, what does Gyan say? This feeling that I have
The incomplete feeling is not there.
is not real. It is situational. This situation is not permanent. This situation can change. So I can put my purusharth and earn money for sure. But that I feel I lack it. Absolutely. That lack is not real. Kevala jnana nishtha. So I am able to dissolve the disturbance in the light of Viveka Shakti, of asserting who my real nature is. So he says, that is Mam Upashritaha. Finally taking a resort in only Gyan and nothing else. No Tantra, no Mantra, no Japa, no nothing, no nothing, no nothing. Keval Jnana Nishtha. Bahavaha, many people. How have they come? He says, Puta. Puta means purified. How have they purified? Highest form of purification. Jnana tapasa. By jnana tapas. Many have come to attain it. What is jnana tapas? Jnanam evacha. Knowledge alone is real tapas. Knowledge of what? Paramatma Vishayam, of Paramatma. Paramatma means what all we have been saying, the true essential nature. The topic of allowing the mind to reflect on it, gain knowledge, think about it, understand, contemplate, and for its qualification to contemplate on Paramatma Vishaya, I need to handle the desires, I need to handle the distractions. So all karma and upasana become anga, they become sadhan for my jnana tapas, which is otherwise very casually said as shravanam, mananam, nididhyasana, remaining the mind engaged in that. That alone is param shuddhim, highest shuddhi. Gyan eva param shuddhim. Knowledge alone is the highest form of purification. Why? Because there are other ways of purification. Karma also does purification. What is the form of purification that karma does? Samskaryam. You have one of the karmas is for samskaryam. Samskaryam means purification. Samskrit karna. Samskrit karna means prakrit se samskrit karna. So our prakrit swabhav, which is only ragadvesh and ahankar based, putting samskars here through karmas, through rituals, through all these lingas and langas. Langas means, I'm sorry, lingas that we have through karmas. Samskaryam is one of the ways. There are many such karma based purificatory methods also. But inner purification, the ragadvesh mal that I have, the dirt of ragadvesh accumulation that I have, the dirt of likes and dislikes that I have, the mala, which is actually the concealer of me not able to receive. It blocks my receptacle. So when Atma Vidya is given also, what is covering my receptacle to receive? What is that receptacle? Antakaran, our mind and intellect. But what is covering it as if covering it? My ragdvesh. So it blocks it off, it shakes it off, it throws it back. It doesn't penetrate. Or I just said, chitra. I have these outlets through which my mind keeps getting dissipated. So I'm not able to collect it all. All this, he says, is I'm sorry, why did I bring this example? What was the sentence I just said before?
What stops the mind?
Ah.
Like you are giving knowledge, but you're not able to connect to it.
Right. So that is my ashuddhi. Ragdvesh is my ashuddhi. Antakaran has ashuddhi in the form of ragdvesh. So what is that which is really the highest shuddhi? So karma yoga helps me to dissolve my ragadvesh, to purify me. It's a method of chitta shuddhi. So karma yoga and bhakti yoga, upasana yoga help me that. But jnana tapas is the highest purification. Why? Because Gyan destroys avidya. Karma cannot destroy avidya. Karma cannot destroy my karta bhav. Upasana cannot help me bridge the difference between Ishvara and Jiva. But Gyan is the highest purification. Param Shuddhim. Gataha, they have attained this Param Shuddhim. Many have attained this Shuddhim. So if you see, the sadhanas are entirely given in this verse. Starting from where? Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Overcoming Raga Bhaya and Krodha. Rag means Dvesh also. Then what? Directing my mind to the topic of the higher. Then what? Whenever there are obstacles or disturbances, I deal them in the light of knowledge. Then what? I keep myself engaged in Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan, that is my tapas. How is it tapas? Gyan is tapas because it destroys, it's the highest, it's the fire which will destroy the, destroy avidya. सो तप करना पड़ता है, ज्ञान को लेने के लिए तप करना पड़ता है. व्हाट इज तप करना? हाउ डू वी अंडरस्टैंड तप? तपस, तपस मीन्स तप करना.
Work towards it.
वर्क टुवर्ड्स इट.
मेहनत करो.
मेहनत करो, तप करो, तपना, exert. So there is this fire that builds around it. So tap is different forms of tap. So vak taps, he's going to talk to us about many forms of
Parantapa,
tap.
right?
Sorry?
Parantapa, right?
Parantapa. Huh. Scorcher of foes. Right. That was Arjuna's name. ना? दूसरे को तपाता है. But tapas here is in the sense that you अपने को तपा के, yes, to help you against, to overcome, to overcome your own natural dissipations. So gyan is a tapas. It requires effort. Even karma requires effort. So here, knowledge, listening, period, persistently for a length of time, because we know the topic is subtle. So listening and then reflecting and then handling your ragadvesh and then dedicating it to Ishvara, not knowing what, etc., etc. All these things is all comes under Gyan Tapas. But basically, Jnana Nishtha, effort for Jnana Nishtha, Upashritaha, Mam Upashritaha, and that Mam means Keval Jnana Nishtha. That is tapas here. Shankara then just adds one. What is it? He says, Jnana Tapasa is a lingam. By the word saying Jnana Tapas, he means Itara Tapa Nirapeksha Jnana Nishtha. Means such a person does not depend on any other form of tapas. That is what it means by Jnana Tapas. So many have attained me, have come to state of freedom by recognizing their own nature. These are the steps. So far, okay? Any question? Because, as I said, we find
Usually, if you're chasing something, if you have a desire and you tell yourself that this whatever desire I have, it's not going to fulfill me. It is just going to be a temporary happiness source, right? But the desire doesn't go away, right? So is there, or is it to kill the desire, or is it to kind of say that you may be chasing this, but it's a useless chase?
yeah, both ways it's okay, no? It'll mean the same thing. Ultimately, you have to see the falsity of the chase. Only then will you be free. You have to develop that vairagyam for that chase. And vairagyam without vivek is, that it's temporary and it'll be futile. So only vivek based vairagyam is real vairagyam. So for me to grow out of a desire, I should see the limitation of the fulfillment that desire brings to me. No, dosha drishti hum kehte hain na. You have to have that dosha drishti in the fulfillment of the desire beforehand. If you can develop the dosha drishti in any fulfillment, then you will be freed of the chase of it. You can fulfill it also or need not fulfill it. The idea is not to fulfill it or to fulfill it. Either way, you should be free of it. होने से भी अच्छा है, नहीं होने से भी. So even if supposing there's a desire which disturbs and I chase it, but I already have the dosha drishti, मिल भी जाए तो क्या है, but ठीक है, life तो pass करनी है ना. So let's just be engaged in doing something we have to do. So let's just gain it. But I'm not dependent on it. मिल गया तो good, नहीं मिला तो good. that my goodness should not be obstructed because of that. Means it should not be changing. That's dosha drishti, vivek shakti, atripti, apurnam. Do these desires really add to it? It's temporary. So theek hai, a lollipop joy is also a joy. Hmm? Is that clear? Okay. Yeah? Clear, no?
जी.
Okay. So I have added, I'll just move on to the verse. That connection I've already given. A few interesting points. I don't know how much it'll help you, but I am hoping it will. It gives a lot of clarity if you're able to follow it. And I think most of you have said you follow it, therefore, you are still attending also. So I'm going to do it anyway, because even if you understand a little bit of it, it's worth it. Yeah. Madhusudan ji says here, now we are doing Madhusudan Saraswati ji's bhashyam on this verse. I just gave the meaning of raga, here only he says it. Raga tat phala trishna. That is called raga. Sarvan vishayan parityajya. Parityajya means having given up, having renounced. Tyajya means to give it up. छोड़ने के बाद, having given up. Parityajya is what you call as renouncing. Having given up what? Sarvan vishayan. All the objects that you chase. In what? Jnana marge. In Jnana marg. Katham jivitam iti trasah bhayam. So when he says vitaraga bhaya krodhaha, the bhaya, Madhusudanji is saying, when you have in your mind a doubt, katham jivitam, how can I live? In Jnana marg, giving up all the objects of my desire. If I have to, well, give up all the objects of desire, if I have to renounce, if I have to not chase karmas, how will I live? You know, in Jnanama, how does one live? When one thinks of it, trasaha, you get disturbed. Andari andar, trasaha, that is called bhayam. What was the meaning we saw that Shankara gave for bhayam? Or generally accepted, that when I have attained something, I have got my object of desire, and I fear that it will be lost, it will be taken away. Fear emerges. Here, in the context of Gyan, pursuit of Atma Vidya, because Krishna said in the previous verse, those who approach me, Mameti, that Mameti is what he's talking of, that absolute state. सर्व विषयान परित्यज्य. People think सब कुछ छोड़ के हम कैसे जिएंगे इस ज्ञान मार्ग में? Because ज्ञान मार्ग means you have freed yourself from karya karana bhav. You have freed yourself from cause and effect relation. You have freed yourself from I work so I get kind of an equation. When you free yourself from it, so he says, how will I live? How will I live? So many people don't take to the Gyan Marg only because of that. Bhakti Marg is easy because of that. Because in Bhakti Marg, they think Bhagwan will take care of them. So, in this, having given up everything, how will I live my life? That trasaha is bhayam. Then, Sarva Vishaya Uchchedakaha Ayam Jnana Marga Katham Hitaha Syatiti Dveshaha. They get put off when they think that I'll be dissociated with all the objects in Jnana Marg. By not pursuing these objects, Katham Hitaha Syat. What is the hit? What is the gain? Thinking like that, there is this Dveshaha, krodhaha, that comes up. What is the anger? He says, leaving out all the objects, uchchedaka, usko ukhad ke, uprooting, all my desires for the objects. How is Gyanmarg going to help? And that creates a disturbance, and that creates what he calls as dveshaha and krodhaha because of that. Ta ete rag bhaya krodhaha vita. In whom such rag, bhaya, and krodh have gone. Now you get new definitions of rag, bhaya, and krodh. What is rag? Trishna for phal. What is bhaya? When I think that without chasing the world and desires, how will I live my life? Like we said, so many of us, when you take to Vedantic study full time, you quit your jobs, you quit all means of security. At that point of time, you just do not know what future holds for you. Whether you will even have one meal coming to you, you do not know. But the desire to know is so powerful that you are okay to take that plunge. That is called Sarva Vishyan Parityajya. But for most people, that plunge is scary, gives them fear. That fear who has overcome, Madhusudan ji is saying. That Trishna for fulfillment who has overcome. And anger when it comes to say, well, why are they asking me not to follow this? Why do they? All that kind of disturbance. Who has overcome means they have complete Shraddha. And not only Shraddha, how have they overcome? Vita. Kaise? How did they cross over? Vivekena. By knowledge, by thinking, by vivek, by atma anatma, satya mithya, nitya anitya, drik drishya, call it any, but through understanding is the right word. Through constant thinking, that vivek developed the vairagyam. And so through that vairagyam, and I have always maintained it, the only people who have vairagyam are truly free of fear. That fear doesn't go as long as there is rag and dvesh. So, vivekena vigata. Through knowledge, they have overcome rag, bhaya, and krodha. Vigataha, yebhyaha, in whoever. Te, those people. Who are those people? Now they are called vitaraga bhaya krodhaha. It's become like a noun. They are referred to as those in whom all this is gone. So it's referring to those people. And who are they? Shuddha Sattvaha. They are now Shuddha. Antakarna Shuddha. They are Shuddha Sattva. Purified completely. Then the next word, Manmaya. Mam. To me. Who is to me? Paramatmanam. Paramatma. Who is that? Tat Pada Artham. That ish Tattvam Asi. That Tat Pada is Ishwar Pada. Whoever has Tat Pada Artha and Tvam Pada Artha Abheda. Tvam Pada means me, I, sense of individual, and Tat Pada is that Ishwar, Abhed between Ishwar and Jiva. What Shankara also said. Sakshat Kritavantaha are directly they have dissolved it and have a sakshat direct. Madek mat eka chittava. Or either they have done this dissolution or their mind is completely mat eka. I am only one. That is there in their chit. Va means or. Either of the way you can say. Manmaya means that. The bottom line is what? Manmaya means in whom the mind, the topic of thoughts, where the mind goes in which direction, is related to either through bhakti bhav, absorbed in bhakti prem for Ishwar, or manan on Ishwar and jiva bhed to dissolve it. They mam upashrita. What is the meaning of mam upashrita? Ek ant, ekant. Ekant means seeing Ishwar as the end, one end. Prema bhakti, because Madhusudan ji has a little attachment for Krishna, so he's adding it here more from that standpoint. Prema bhakti, bhaktiya, that is the means that without your object of affection, your mind will not go towards it. So Shastra allows this, that Bhagavan has given us this upadhi, that whoever we are fond of, our mind runs to that person or that object. On its own, it goes. In the same way, if the object of your fondness is Bhagwan, Ishwar, that prema bhakti is your sadhan. Mam Ishwaram Sharanam Gataha. He says, Mam is Ishwar, me. Sharanam Gataha, you come to my refuge. Seek refuge in me. Bahavaha Aneke, many people. Jnana tapasa, jnanam eva tapaha. Why is that alone? Eva, jnana alone is the tapas. Why? Because sarva karma shaya hetutvat. Because it destroys the means of all karmas. Means of all karmas means hetu, reason why we do karma. Why do we do karma? Because of
This should be
no,
to qualify for, yeah.
that is about us. But generally, why do
It is our desire.
okay? Because of what?
Because
We feel we are incomplete.
weakness.
What is that feeling? Another word? What is the other word for it? Avidya. Because of avidya, we engage in karma. So he says here, what is that? Sarva karma kshaya. Yes. So हेतु क्या है हमारे कर्मों का? Why do we do karma? Because we feel incomplete, all that. But why do we feel incomplete? Go back. Because of Atma Avidya. So all karma ka hetu is avidya. Avidya, kama, karma. Remember that cycle always. Where do my desires come from? Because of avidya. Because of desires, I do karma. So Gyan alone is what can destroy avidya, which is the hetu, the reason why I engage in all karmas. And engaging in all karmas means it keeps me busy in my samsara gati. He says that later on in this verse also. Why jnanam eva tapaha? It's the highest form of purification. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. 38th verse of chapter 4, this verse will come where Krishna will say, there is no other parallel, equal, sadrisham, like knowledge, which is a purifier. Means there is no better purifier, no other purifier than knowledge. It's the highest purifier that exists. He's going to say that. Tena putaha, purified by that Atma Vidya. Sheena sarva papaha, all papaha, all accumulated karma phal, righteous, here papaha is unrighteous, all papa karma phala destroyed. Santaha, having got destroyed, निरस्त अज्ञान तत्कार्य malaha. Nirasta means निरस्त कर देना, destroy कर देना. to destroy. Kisko? Ajnana. To destroy Ajnan. And because Ajnan is destroyed, Tat Karya, whatever is its effect of Ajnan, is all Mala, Rag, Dvesh, which puts us in karma. So that is why Jnana Tapas is the highest purifier. Why? Because it destroys avidya. And as long as there is avidya, we have desires because of that feeling of lack, which is not real feeling. Those desires keep us in karma. That is our mala. And the cycle we all know now. Then he says, Mad Bhavam, Mad Rupatvam, Vishuddha Satchidananda Ghanam. What is that bhavam of mine? He says, Mat Rupatvam, my own roop. What is that? Pure. Sat Chit Ananda Ghanaha. Dense. I don't know how to use the word Ghanaha. Dense with Shuddha Chit. Sat Chit Ananda. Pure. Alone. Nothing else is there. That is moksha. Agataha. Many have come to this. Ajnana matra apanayena. Only by removal of. Apanaya means hatana. By removal of kevala agyan. Only agyan. By removal of only agyan. Agyan, lack of knowledge. Atmavidya. Moksham praptaha. Many have attained moksha. Jnana tapasa puta, purified by jnana tapas, jivan muktaha santaha. They become jivan mukt while they are still alive. Mat bhavam, mat vishayam bhavam. Topic being me. Man vishay means here topic of thinking. Rati akhyam, which is also called Atma Rati. So Ishvara Rati. Premanam agata iti va. Or you can call it either you're thinking or you're in rati. How Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was in rati. How Meera was in rati. How Radha is in rati. Rati means reveling. So mind revels in thoughts of Ishwara. Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate iti hi vakshyati. It's also said in one of the verses that Jnani who's always eka bhakti, he excels. That's been said. Then in the next verse, now he's going to say, what has so far he said? He says, whoever comes to me through this, I give him moksha as if. When they come to me, seek me, manmaya, mam upashit, then they come to me, I give them moksha, means they get moksha. So the next verse is going to say, then is it not that you're becoming preferential? What do you mean by becoming preferential? Only when they seek you, only when they think of you, only when they remember you, will you give them moksha. What about the others? Are they not qualified? So he says, if someone says and puts vaishamya, dosh in you, vaishamya means having vishamata, means seeing partiality. Let's say this way. To your devotees, you're partial, and those who are not your devotees, you will punish them. Is that you? Is that what you are saying? You know, someone can have a doubt like this, that Ishvara is partial. So to Arjuna and to Pandavas, he is preferential, and to Kauravas, he is punishing them. He's outcasting them, etc. Is that it? So Krishna is going to answer that no. And that's a beautiful verse. I would still think that this verse will also clarify completely what is Ishvara's role in one's life. Total clarity, total knowledge, you know. And what is a simple word? We'll do it tomorrow, of course. It's already time. Overextended. Okay, these are. But the next verse we'll do this. When we come to the 11th verse, we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, so 10th verse we have concluded today. Let's just go over it. I think it's a simple verse. He's talking about whoever from 9th verse continue thinking, 9th and 10th verse in one sentence. Whoever knows my divine birth and my divine karma as divine, they know me in essence. And when you know me in essence, he says, at the time of death also, you get freed of this sansar chakra, you come to me. So then the question comes, if by your grace only one can come, because you said at the end they'll come to me. If only by your grace they can come, then what is the Purusharth? Purusharth of such people is Jnana Tapas is the highest Purusharth. To qualify for Jnana Tapas, you have karma and upasana. Karma will help you vitaraga bhaya krodha. Upasana will give you manmaya and mam upashritaha. Gyan will be, you'll be qualified for it. And through Gyan also you can have manmaya, mam upashritaha. Purified by that, avidya gets destroyed and you will come to know me. Then now the question is, only those who are your bhaktas or seeking you, Ishwar, only will they get this? Are you preferential? So to that he'll unfold this beautiful thing. And that is also one of the questions that was asked. Some Samatvam people have a very different understanding. A casual understanding of Samatvam is that you should be same to everybody. A Jnani is same to everybody. So how can you also be same to everybody if you're also wanting to do that? Because of our Ragdvesh, we cannot be same to everybody. So you will see here also the question that was asked. You will get this. And when I said there is a taratamyam in your vyavahar, Krishna says here, I have no preference at all. The samatha is in my giving as is sought. Whoever seeks what, I give them that. So the difference is not from my side, the difference is from the seeker's side. So from the president who went to the jail and he asked everybody, what do you want? One inmate said, I want television. President said, Tathastu. Another inmate said, I want daily dose. I want an iPad. I want to watch. Tathastu. Another one said, I want guitar. Tathastu. Another one said, I want to be a union leader. Tathastu. Another one said, I want to start a business in the jail. Tathastu. Another said, take care of my family outside. Since I'm here, I don't want them to struggle. Give them enough. Tathastu. One of them said, give me freedom. Tathastu. He, only one out of hundreds who were in the jail, there was only one who came out of the jail. President was some in every one of them. He gave them according to what they asked. He was some in, he didn't have any difference in his mind. Where did the taratamyam lie? Where did the difference lie? The difference lied in who was asking what from him, who sought him for what. So that is a beautiful verse, next verse. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshoparahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om everyone. One second, I have to stop sharing. Yep.
Recording stopped.
धन्यवाद.
Dhanyavad
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you everyone. Yeah.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. All the best. Any questions? So we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. I just have this. Hari Om, everyone. Hari Om, Dhanyavad. Hari Om.